Hey there, Yurii here, and welcome to the Community ROI podcast. Here, senior community experts tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about how community impacts business growth. By listening to these conversations, you'll get actionable steps on how to connect community goals with business goals to skyrocket business growth while still bringing extreme value to community members. And my guest is Corina Gheonea, a seasoned community professional with over 12 years of experience in community development and entrepreneurial environments, who is passionate about building a thriving community that cares for the people and the mission it represents, and currently develop and align community strategy with the organization's mission and objectives as the Senior Director of the Global UiPath community. So, welcome, Corina.
Hi, nice to see you and connect.
I already had a great conversation with you before the recording about connecting community goals with business goals. So let's dive deeper. So, what's your definition of a community goal?
A goal, it's a goal, and it should be a goal for all those involved. When we put the layer of community, it just brings more stakeholders at the table, and it makes sure that others get involved, like the ones who you serve, the ones who use the specific product or service, the ones who contribute. So it's just defining a goal, like any whatever Google can give us as a goal definition, but then making sure that is very aware of the other stakeholders, and especially the stakeholders that get to use that product. They don't have a monetary involvement, so it's just a bit of the social behind.
How does it work for you? So, you first define community goal and then talk to stakeholders, or you talk to stakeholders and then define community goal?
The first thing is like it's a continuum, so it's not like you start from zero and that's the moment when you put the objective. So you get a sense of reality and then you formulate the goal, the objective. What we do is we try as much as possible to learn as soon as possible about the company objectives, the larger mission. And while we do that, we zoom out and we try to see what's there in that industry, what's happening, and what our community says about it. So it's a lot of hearing them. Um, that means that we get the chance to learn, and when the time comes to set the new objectives, usually once per year, we have that educated, not even a guess, like a bit more than a guess, like we have that senses already trained. We made sure we learned and heard the community while we also heard the business, so then we are the bridge in between.
How to be this bridge? Because sometimes people are talking about one thing and like management talking about another thing. Like, how do you manage to be this bridge?
uh, a few things, like not much ego, being quite critical with the work, zooming out, making sure that it's quite nice to be a guide, a shaper, so not to be the only force there. If you become isolated if you see yourself like that. So knowing that you work with things in motion, you work with things that come from the inside motivation of so many others. We really need to be gentle, honest, although we speak about business objectives. So I'm not talking fluffy things, like it's business, but it needs to be shaped, touched in a way that just guides, and in the end guides common sense. But we need to be honest with that, not lazy with that, because there can be an easy way. So what do we need to do? We need to, new user acquisition, we'll do that. And then you complain, if I have the budgets, maybe. If I don't, like, that's all I can do. So if you get into that mood, which is very transactional, you will not get much. So I'm lucky to have a team, and we started quite entrepreneurial and in a startup mode, and the community team is still working. The engine is still entrepreneurial.
I feel like it's very important to have this mindset because what I hear sometimes from community builders, like, yeah, I'm working with this community and I'm protecting community from other teams. I'm like, why do you do that? Like, you have to work together. So I'm curious, what is one goal of the community you are working with at the moment or worked before that inspires you the most?
There are a few, and I can go very back in the past, and there was one that was quite bold back then, and I still remember how honest we were when we started to accelerate our journey. So it was just before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, UiPath was on an accelerated growth, hyper growth. Everything was just expansion, growing like crazy. And one thing that we had to do back then was to develop a new product, in a way, a marketplace. And we knew, we were very honest with the community. So the objective was, if it's a marketplace, that means that diverse companies and individuals, we will invite them there. So we said to the community, in a few months, we'll launch this. In order for this to exist, we need to start to create content together. So they had no idea what we're inviting to. We had no idea what we're inviting. Like, we had the concept, but not the final product. But we knew that at that moment in time, we will all meet and that will make sense to all of us. So that was, and this is like an example that I give to many other startup founders, CEOs who have, like, you don't come with the objective of we need community. Like, community can be a way of achieving something, and that needs to be formulated as part of your core goals. Like, be real, say what you really want to achieve in a few months or years, and be able to share that with your community. But it's our inside strategy. No, it's not inside strategy. Like, if you want them there for real, share that. So that's one example for us. More recent ones as objectives, I would say something that I like a lot in what we do is democratizing access to automation. So the UiPath community is about AI automation software and professionals learning from each other, practicing and accelerating their careers in that sense. So making sure that anyone has access, because our tool can be learned by people who can be full-time in this job, or that they just want to build a few automations and use automations. So democratizing access, making automation for all, that's something that I do like, and it's at my core to make it accessible to as many. So that means that we protect as much as possible, and we make sure that the product is available, like the community edition is available. They access learning. They get to be awarded and appreciated in the community. So it's not just about, oh, only you, if you are from a customer, or you need to be from a specific, you had to do something before. No, it's quite a lot about inviting many. And we go, like, there are programs for kids that just get the sense of, oh, robotics or software automation, to going and helping others upskill, or people who are into accounting and now they are successfully using automation, or we are having some programs for veterans. So we try to encompass quite a lot. So that's one objective that I like and makes me feel very fulfilled with what we do, like automation for all and this workforce readiness.
How do you connect so different people in one space?
Although, like, the first thing is, like, it's this passion for automation, like that would be the first layer. But then when we hear them, and I'm curious to hear the community members, what they say a lot is their passion for learning.
Mm.
So, and that is quite common. Like, even if you don't know yet the specificity of automation, that if you have that passion for learning, you'll get there. So that's something that, and it's, I'm impressed when we hear the advocates, the champions, the most valuable professionals, who they should be at the top spotlight, so they should just be there and shine. They talk about passion for learning, like that's the thing for them. So it makes us all be very honest and humble with, this is all about. So if that's at the core, it's very easy to invite someone who is successfully building very interesting automations, very complex automations in their companies. But then when we say, hey, we have a program for some students in a technical college, so not even the ones who will become, I don't know, the next CEOs and startup founders, but they are some kids who are curious to learn. Some of them have computers, some might not. Are you willing to go there because maybe they don't have the internet connection to connect with them and to help them learn? It's a yes. Like they want that because of the passion for learning.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so how is this community objective is connected with business objective?
Uh, so as I said, we put it under the fancy words of workforce readiness. So
Mhm.
it sounds very corporate like that. Or we just it's automation for all, or it's democratizing access, or like we can give some fancy words that make sense to corporate if that's what we need. The good thing with us, we don't need that much. Like we are very clear and thorough, so we say it bluntly as it is. Um, and it means that it can achieve something short term, but we can also talk the language of long term. So making sure that people are aware already, they get the skills, the digital skills. Then it means that the ecosystem will be quite rich and vibrant. So when time comes for a new customers to consider us as an option, let's say, and so they can be our customer, it's a prospect. One of the criteria when choosing a technology can be, do I have talent around me to employ? So if we already build this vibrant ecosystem, it's a big chance for them to say, yeah, there is talent in the market, so let's go with this technology. Or there are already use cases, or we already showcase, maybe they consider, but how fast my people will get to learn the technology? We say, we have this, like it's from accountants were able to learn it in this amount of time. Veterans will learn it in this amount of time. So there are so many examples and so many learning resources for people at different stages. So we can show, we can formulate that there is value. There is time when it's not about immediate value. It can take a bit longer for that value to exist. But that's why we do multitasking and we show value now and we show value later.
Am I hearing it correctly that one of the main goals is to raise this awareness of the product and kind of like create future clients?
Uh, yes and no. So it's not like it's not that focused on only on future clients. We have I would say almost the independence of growing the community in all possible ways. So for us, it's about awareness, but then let's use it, not just awareness. We are not just that phase of the marketing. It's accelerating growth, making sure that people do adopt, learn about it. We talk about offering support. So we do have a very open forum where people ask quite many questions and they receive their answers. It's about user-generated content. So a lot of our content comes from community members as blogs, videos, use cases, different challenges. They become speakers, trainers, they create multiple materials. So a lot being created by community. A lot of testing, so product testing, bugs, feedback, new ideas. Product is in contact with the community. So many other roles. One of them being we make sure that people from customers are there, or customers that want to grow inside their organization communities. We are there to support them. So anything related to adopting and having fun with our technology, it sounds a bit community, so we're there.
What teams do you work with while building a community?
Almost all of them, I would say, but I will name a few. Like we work very closely with product and product marketing for product feedback, adoption, making sure that the user generated content is qualitative. So we go to them for curation. Product is also involved with us in the selection process of the most valuable professionals. So they are part of an interview in the process, making sure that we bring the people that they will build a partnership with them through the year or the product feedback that comes. So that's an important side. With the other departments, like the other functions in marketing, so we are part of marketing, but there are many other functions there. With customer success, when they want to grow inside communities or when they want different ways of engaging for more fun adoption of the platform. With sales, when they, as I said, like when they consider or they want to pitch for a new customer. Yeah, with many others, and then many other departments that also help us. Like we need legal support for different code of conduct or hackathon legal agreements, or so different teams with our people function also. So because in a way we are contributing without core intention to employer branding, maybe, or inside the organization, building an internal community. So yeah, many.
What metrics do you use to show how community help those teams?
Um, a few. So a few who are more like qualitative and some quantitative. Especially with product, we collect a lot of product feedback and innovative ideas. And for that, it's not that much about the quantity. So, hey, 3 new bugs and 10 more features, and we don't know if they will really get into production immediately or later. So it's a continuum. So we know the partnership is valuable, but we don't put the pressure of a specific number on top of that. And plus, we collect the feedback in too many ways. A good thing and a bad thing for us, but it's what we do. Like we have too many venues for collecting the feedback, like through Slack, to product board, through forum, and product circles, gatherings. And then we have a large event, 2-3 days intensive event where product comes and MVPs come and they are together. We are not there taking notes from every conversation. So you gave him a feedback idea, you helped with a bug. So it's not about that. We know it's valuable that way. So we collect feedback after, just a perception kind of feedback, and we collect the technical aspects. Then like we can put it like how many colleagues from inside UiPath help us grow, and that helps people, organization to see, hey, our on employer branding aspects or on the quality of the experience for employees. It can be how many people we have in the community from specific customers, specific partners. So that's numbers. Like we can show, hey, we engage this many thousands of people, users from this list of customers, from this list of partners. So that's something that we can show in quantitative.
Usually I know that communities are like community team is working with many teams, and one of the main goals of the community is to help thrive in other teams. But also it's good to kind of like receive kind of help in return, because like kind of help me help you. And I'm curious, how do you encourage people from other teams to work with a community team to achieve community goals?
Well, first is not that they will not achieve just the community goal if they do that. And if they don't have something to achieve right now, again, we talk about the long term. Like community, as I see, is not just something that you want now and you make a plan now and in 3 months you achieve that. It's a commitment of a long lasting relationship ecosystem that will transform and you don't know yet how. So with that in mind, it's like with product, as I said. So if they want that product feedback, if they want that product to be relevant, it makes sense to participate in different venues with community and to help. Now, if you are not available right now to help us, maybe we have a blog post that needs to be curated. You don't have the time right now. Okay, the good thing is maybe there is a bigger team. So you are not available now, but someone from that team to help us in that sense. We give them enough time, space, but then if they can't help us immediately or they are really not uh, uh, we pitch the idea of that's content for you also, like your product is going to be displayed by someone else's voice, or there is going to be more educational content for your product that gives the chance for new testing scenarios to come back, new features to come back. We don't know, it's not a final promise, but this is what maybe happened in the past with a few others. So we try to give example. That's why I'm saying it's you don't count on a only on what happened in the last month. Like you
Mhm.
count a lot on what you collected, you harvested in community. So that's why you need to be very aware of the value of community, collecting those voices, keeping them there. You don't know exactly when those kinds of values help you further. So they get to help us. They like us. That's the good thing that we also try as much as possible to celebrate them, to give back, to give them branded swag when time comes. It's not an immediate exchange, so we try to surprise them. So we still count on internal motivation from all of them. It's a good way for them to be spotlighted. So we try to make it more about their human intention.
Mhm.
We don't go with it's your job, like in your job description you are in charge of that product, so for you to be successful you need to do this. So we go with the same approach, just like we go, maybe we practice a lot in community, because in community it's about you do it because you want to do it, so we can't force you into anything. Almost nothing is mandatory. It's hard to make it mandatory. So because we are trained this way, we go with a similar approach to our colleagues, and that makes them resonate better.
Am I understanding it correctly? Is it to really understand what to work on in the community? You kind of listen to, you see what are the business goals, you see what are other teams' goals, and you listen to people in the community, and then you come up with some ideas and go to the team like, hey, we can get this product feedback from the community. It will help you to build better products faster. Would you like to have that?
Yeah. And the value for us, like we are lucky, we have many products. So we can talk about how we were already successful with other teams. Like we can show them the recipe. This is how we work with others. It can be also about competitiveness. Oh, so you are already working with the others. I want that too. But it's on them if they think like that. So yeah, like it makes sense. But we are always quite a step ahead. Like we try to sense things early to make sure we go in the right direction.
How do you bring visibility to the overall community impact on business internally?
Uh, in many ways, and we feel like it's still not enough, but it's we do a lot. We participate like in all big corporate events. We make sure we are there. We have we use Slack for internal communication, so we try to post quite often. We post our quarterly reports also. There is uh, with our people organization and internal communication, we have this partnership that they spotlight some of our activities. I was just reading this morning the weekly, and out of all the bullet points, three of them were specific to community. So I said congrats to my team immediately, like, hey, we're taking over here. No, it was really fun to see that there is interest. We can post about it, our colleagues to know about the working community. We try to showcase people who help us, so to relate easier, like, hey, this is why we're posting about this program, or these colleagues who helped us, these departments who helped us. We go directly to some leaders, like if I don't know, we have a very good report or we have some results from a survey, we go directly to them. we try to connect the community with those leaders, and then there are follow-up actions. So it's a continuous, or then they invite us to their leadership meetings, or their department meetings, and we get 5 minutes, 10 minutes to talk about community. We do a lot. We do a lot on social media. They see us quite a lot, especially on LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't know what else. Everywhere we have a chance, we get to talk, and
And
still we want more. Like in the onboarding process, like I have some colleagues in our office in India. Whenever they see someone new entering the building, it's like, I need to talk with them about community. So every new employee or anyone who visits the office in India will learn about community for sure, because they know their memory is really good. So, oh, this guy, I don't think he knows or she knows about community yet. So let me talk.
sounds a little bit about this, some people in the church like, oh, have you talked about God? And like, oh, have you talked about community? Like, let's talk about community.
Yeah, yeah. No, and it's really nice. So, like, I think in August, we had a call with our MVPs and with our CEO. So immediately, once he heard some good feedback, he immediately went to his leaders. So they immediately got back. We heard about this. Well, let's learn more. Let's do more. So then it just goes through the company. Like, we are like the blood system there.
And we talk a little bit about this before the recording, and also what I hear that you have really strong support from the C level, and I'm curious how's important for a community from your perspective. How's important for a community team to have this strong support?
Well, it's important. You can't just fight. Like, it needs to make sense, and it needs to. Oh, I think it's important to have honest conversations, and for you to be honest in your intention. Like, if you go, especially if you are the leader of the community, I do hope that nobody is there and they feel just as employees. Like, you are responsible for the voice of so many others when you are in that position. You don't have to be entirely their voice, but you really need to make sure that you are there to give space to so many others who are part of your community. It can be just a few hundreds, it can be thousands, it can be millions. You, as a human being doing your role, you need to be as ethical as possible, as honest as possible, because, like, if you just take it as a job, it will not last. It's it so And if you have that honesty, then it's about, how do we really have the real conversation? How do we really? And it can be like, okay, maybe we start from a point of community doesn't matter.
Hmm.
How do we make sure we find that one person for whom it starts to matter, or to give it a chance? You get that chance, you prove the value, you expand a bit. Like, because you have the good pressure of representing awesome people. And if you don't feel that, it means that maybe you are not the right person to represent them. So once you feel that responsibility, you want to make your voice heard by at least one person. And with that voice comes work. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm not allowed to enter the door. No, like, it comes with work, it comes with proof, it comes with a pilot, it comes with showing something that makes sense. It's not, as I said, it's not just hearing your community goal and formulating that. It's, you really hear the other objectives, and you just put the right words for your community goal to sound in a way that makes sense to the other part.
Yeah.
This is how I see it. And I think it's like, I like this way of working. And maybe I'm privileged to work in this manner, but this is what makes sense. And it lasts. It's for all involved.
I feel like community builders are always those people who are going an extra mile to really help, happen something. And I feel like maybe it's just personal thing, but I feel like that also community builders are happy for success of other teams more than about success of their own teams. Yeah, I might be wrong, but at least that's what I'm feeling personally sometimes.
It's about that a lot because it's about celebrating the success of your community members, the success of so many other teams around you, the success of the customers, everybody's success. That's why it's more about guiding, shaping, being a bridge, being building an ecosystem for the other things to happen.
And I also know that community is not always a bright side. There is also a dark side. So how do you talk about the challenges you face?
We talk. Yeah, like I feel on one side, I feel there aren't that many impossible challenges, but maybe I have this approach because, as I said, we do a bit too many things. So that's exhausting. But at least we are true to ourselves and we like what we do. There is a lot of freedom in what we do. And I hope you get the chance to talk with my colleagues also for them to say that, not just, oh, me as the manager. So I truly believe in our power to choose our work and to do that. So that helps us a lot. And because we do so many things, it's also good for us to, while something is hard, other things work. So that gives us a balance that we just don't get stuck like, oh, this is difficult. What are we going to do now? Um, we talk, we work, we say it quite honestly. So I report directly to the chief marketing officer. So he wants honesty. I give honesty immediately. Oh, I say I don't have enough of this. It's not necessary that he will say I immediately give you, but we learn about what's happening and how we can work with what we have, or how much we need to wait for some things to happen. Um, what else? Like I remember a very big moment for us was in when the pandemic was starting
Hmm.
because that was the moment when we managed to secure budget for technology for bringing a new platform. Back then was the Bevy platform,
Hmm.
um, because we pitched that we are growing through local events. So that was the big pitch. We got the money and we were supposed to launch exactly when the pandemic was starting. So how do you put it now? Um, so we just thought and thought, and we continued with the launch, but we positioned it like it was like, let me, uh, yeah. So it was about moving on digital, like
Mhm.
this was started to happen. So we said we need this technology because we are globally connected, locally involved. The platform will do the global thing, the local will. So that's how we positioned everything, and we said it's going to work in a way. And it did. So we are still using it and we are growing quite nicely in that sense. But that was like a big moment in that sense. If other things don't work or we like this can happen if we do too much. And then we have to say, look, like it's our calendar is already full. We need to pause this. Um, when there are limits on budgets, usually like community especially needs to be a bit more scrappy. So we need to find ways. The difficulty comes when with community, like community doesn't care that much about the internal budgets and planning of the organization. We say, but the community grows and they are asking us to do more there, to do more there. So it's not just we have the clear list. These are, I don't know, the countries where we need to bring more business. We can do that, but these people need to grow in other places also, and they are asking for that.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to say no because we don't talk business objectives with them. It doesn't make sense to do that. And it's very humane. It's like we can't say no for the sake of no. So we maximum delay some things because we are also humans and the team has a limited amount of time. So it's like we can't open chapters everywhere. Like we need to say no for a bit. Say no. Let's grow together this side of the community, and then we'll be able to open new chapters, create new hackathons, or whatever the community wants. So mostly we delay things. We don't believe that things are not possible.
You know, Corina, I wish to have the sky's the limit, but time is the limit. So the final question, what is one thing to do right away for someone struggling with identifying their community ROI?
So if they have a team, I think they need to have this conversation as a team and to start with a brainstorming with things that they see that it's value generated by community, value created right now, like it can be use cases, responses to some questions on the forum, whatever, how they formulate those things, but then to understand the value on long term of those things. So the double meaning of those kind of assets that the community generates, and then to also formulate what they see as values that they desire, and to see what's the match and what they need to do in that sense. There are many resources, including your podcast, about this, so they can learn a lot. They can choose one and try to work um, with that value, with that result, and have conversations. I think having conversations with the community members, like asking them how do they define the value created by that community, and have conversations with different stakeholders, especially the ones close to product, if it's a tech product software community, or the ones in customer success. Like how is this helping you be more successful in helping our customers?
Yeah.
So with that, I think they can start. It can be a lot.
Yeah, it's always a lot, but you always have to start somewhere. So, and last but not least, name 2 people I should reach out to talk about community ROI.
um, People. So if you want to learn more about growing a region and more like the countries in Asia, APJ, I would recommend my colleague Rohit, so he's in my team, and also Vibor from my team, who is more into advocacy, evangelizing, so he's very good into that. Then I would also recommend the community members from managers from Personio. So Daniele Buzzi or Selina or Adam. So I connected some time ago with them, and I do like their work. Yeah, 2 names. You have 5.
Yeah, it's already a little bit more, but it's okay. You know, it's always good to have more than to. And what is the best way to connect with you?
With me, I think the easiest is through LinkedIn. So I think that's the social network that grows, and it will last quite a lot because our professional life, I believe, will last long life. So yeah, I think LinkedIn is the easy way to connect. Find my name there, and we can connect further.
Got it, Karina. Thank you so much for this extremely valuable conversation and for sharing your amazing experience so openly.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And see you in the community world. And thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions about how the community can help you reach and overcome your business goals faster, let's connect on LinkedIn and talk about it. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.